Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of the Sound Vault. Now, this is going to be a long form podcast. This is going to be more of a shorter, 10 to 12 minutes. I just want to spend some time reacting to a video that I seen. Now, we talked about golden era hip hop, some music on the first episode. And this is going to be about sports because we want to mix it up, right? And so I was in traffic yesterday and I seen a video. I like to listen to sports or podcasts, try to kill the time in my commute. And boy, did it tick me off. I'm just going to cut to the chase. It's about Kobe, right? And it seems as if there has been some sort of smear campaign against the Black Mamba. This guy, we're talking about a guy who sacrificed not only his body, sacrificed countless memories and time with his family, his daughters, and his wife. He gave us 20 years, right? And I just want you to watch this video and react with me with that in mind. So without further ado, we're going to go to this angle right here. Let's pull up OBS. And let's react. All right, so check this out.
Bleacher Report's top 100 players ever. The top. Oddly, we're not discussing it. Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Bill Russell, followed by Shaq, a little bit high. Duncan, Bird, Wilt, Steph, Kobe, Hakeem Olajuwon.
It's a good 12. It's a good 12 people. Now, the order that it's in, that's a whole different story. But let's just play the video.
Focusing on 10 and 11 there, bro. Do you agree with Steph being ranked higher than Kobe? Am I saying higher or lower?
It's higher.
Higher.
You should say higher. Yeah, I know it's counterintuitive, but it sounds.
I'm not there. I'm not. Look, with all due respect to Steph, I'm not ready to put him ahead of Kobe. One of the big reasons is the defense. Kobe obviously was a very good defender and made all defensive teams several times. Steph, that's a weakness of his game.
And don't get me wrong. I just want to preface this. I'm sorry if I keep stopping it. But Steph has been revolutionary for the game. He has kids pulling up from 30, shooting as soon as they cross half court. Steph, as soon as he crosses half court, he has to be doubled, right? They're guarding him at the half court line. I get it. When you talk about players that have revolutionized the game, you got Air Jordan. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. You got AI, the do-rags, the gold chains, the baggy jeans. Everyone wanted to have that style. You got Kobe. You shoot it in the trash can. What do people say? They say Kobe. Steph falls into that line. So I'm a huge Steph fan. I don't want to use this to, be derogatory of what his history has been. But we're talking about Kobe.
And look, a lot of players that played against Kobe have him in the GOAT conversation. Mm-hmm. Neither myself nor Nick does.
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right.
But they have him in the GOAT conversation because he was such a killer. And Steph is too, in a different way. But I will tell you, with my little basketball experience, because I'm not trying to compare it to these guys, but when you are facing a player that is just going for your throat on both sides of the ball for 48 minutes or however long the game is, it's bothersome. And
it's just mind-boggling to me that the players who played with Kobe all have him in the GOAT conversation. You heard Brew say it right there. The media knows that, and he was no media darling. He gave the media a bunch of crap. I mean, go look at the interviews, right? He was tough on them. But they know what the players and his peers think. And I think it aggravates them that much more. These pencil pushers, these analytical nerds, these geeks, that he was tough on them, but he still gets love from the players. He was tough on the players. He was one of the most competitive, talked the most trash. KG, Kevin Garnett, says Kobe was the best trash talker ever. And that's coming from a pretty legit trash talker in Kevin Garnett. So I just think that Kobe agitates the media. And this is their way of sort of paying him back for all of those years that he gave them crap. I think that's what this is. I mean.
So I think that's what a lot of players would admit. LeBron has a lot of things over Kobe. But Kobe, the way he would attack you when you're playing against that is just not fun. And so I don't have him ahead of LeBron, obviously, but I'm just saying that I would throw that in as well for I'm not ready to put Steph ahead of.
Yeah, so can we throw up the top 12 again? Because we're going to spend most of the segment talking about where we disagree with the list. Mm-hmm. One thing I do want to give them credit for is, in my opinion, this is the exact right 12. It's not the right order.
That's what I said.
I think this is, and I think I think Steph has made this a firm, 12. He's the latest entry into this group. Joker could shake the snow globe up, in relatively short order. I know Brew believes Wemby could shake it up considerably much further down the road. But this is the best 12 players in the history of the league, at least in my estimation. I agree with them there. I feel like this list did an odd, and I've never seen it happen actually, for Kobe, an overcorrection in the other direction. So there's a
lot of that taking place now.
Yes, and so it felt like totally understandably after he passed, there was, as there is for most people when they pass, particularly if they pass suddenly and tragically, and a positive correction. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, give it up. You see, Nick drives me insane. Nick's takes seem like this combination of him scrolling through Twitter, mainstream popular Twitter on his timeline, and just grasping for the most popular takes and just spewing them on air live. The narrative that Kobe only entered the GOAT conversation posthumously after he passed away is so stupid. It's diabolical. You can go back in time historically. The footage is archived. Countless amounts of interviews where his peers, media, are calling him the second coming of Jordan. He was in the GOAT conversation. It was him and Jordan. Before LeBron was drafted, it was him and Jordan. Even when LeBron was young in the league and he was doing his thing, it was still Kobe Jordan. And it's another narrative to discredit Kobe. It's another narrative. You heard him. He said an overcorrection after he passed away. Similar to how, rappers, like the XXXTentacion, Tupac, when they die young, they're immediately catapulted. Their record sales shoot up. They skyrocket. This is not the case. It's extremely frustrating and disappointing to hear these guys. Look at their faces. Look at this.
Err on the side of better than not. You know what I mean? And that stuck for a while, where it did seem like there were a lot of people arguing, well, obviously, Kobe's better than Magic. Kobe's better than Kareem. And those are takes I personally disagree with. But this felt to me like it was the canary in the coal mine on this specific list that maybe was a little too analytically driven was David Robinson being in the top 20. Because David Robinson always was this analytical darling. Mm-hmm. And Kobe's analytics do him a bit of a disservice in my opinion.
Because he wasn't very efficient.
He wasn't very efficient, and he did have a couple really tough finals, and he had a 3-year stretch.
Okay. Let me just break this real quick. And this is why I'm glad I have this channel, because I've always had strong opinions about these things, and I've never been able to get my voice out. So I could have one person watching this, 2 people watching this, but if there's a one damn Kobe fan that clicks on this video and says, man, it's nice to have somebody defend his legacy. That's all I'm after. And this guy, they're talking about Kobe. Look at Brew. He looks like he doesn't even want to do this, but he's doing it because he has to. Kobe had a rough stretch of finals. Inefficient. Why is LeBron not dinged when it comes to finals? What is he, 3-6? That's not inefficiency? What about against the Mavs? He was stacked with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in their primes, and he got locked up by JJ Barea. He got locked up by a 5'10" plumber. No offense to JJ Barea, but why doesn't LeBron get dinged for the exact comment that Nick made? The guy who's currently sitting number 2 on the list.
In his career where they missed the playoffs 1 year and got bounced in the first round the other 2 years during his prime. But Steph's the only all-time great like that while he's playing in this era. We don't do the fine-tooth comb negative stuff. And maybe we should treat more guys like that. But Steph post Durant leaving, you know what I mean? 5 of the 6 years, they've either missed the playoffs or not gotten out of round 2.
I'm going to defend Steph too. Since LeBron has became a Laker, we're talking about 5 out of 6. He's getting swept. LeBron's getting swept. He got swept by the Nuggets. He got destroyed this year. He had AD and then he had Luka. This is comical. It's too easy to argue against these guys. I can't believe they're on live TV. LeBron's last 6 years have been awful. What's your excuse? He's older? He's out of his prime? No, because then I have to hear that no 40-year-old has ever played this well before. So, okay, both can't be false. Is he old and playing at the peak of his powers? Or is he at the peak and losing? Again, it's too easy.
And some of that stuff seems to have stuck to Kobe retroactively. Like, oh, blew a 3-1 lead in round 1, missed the playoffs the 1 year. They've missed the playoffs 3 times in the last 6 years.
I think that's because of Steph's size.
Yeah, well,
smaller players are generally.
I agree, but also it's one of the reasons they're not judged is because we don't typically think they're quite as good as. Right. And again, I think Steph is one of the 12 greatest players ever. But I personally think Kobe had a better career than Shaq, even though Shaq is probably my #1 draft pick all time, every player alive for get them at the peak of their powers, apex version of themselves for one game. Shaq might be the #1 pick, but Shaq just wasn't that version long enough. So I think this is a little unfair to Kobe.
Let me say this, because this was interesting to me, because Steph, most people would say he hasn't been at his best in many of his finals appearances. Yeah. And Kobe, you could say the same thing. They are similar in that neither of them was consistently dominant in the finals. Yeah. And when they...
Can we say that LeBron was consistently dominant in the finals? It's almost as like if you take their takes against Kobe, you see that LeBron also does not measure up. Let's just say what they're saying about Kobe is true. Let's just say it's true. LeBron doesn't even measure up to the standards that they're setting. This is recorded. These games were played and documented. LeBron has not historically just been this dominant figure in the finals. Has he had finals where he has been dominant? Of course. Of course. Runaway freight train, absolutely Greek god of a physique coming down the lane with incredible, impeccable athleticism. Jumping through the roof, no one can stop him. Have I seen that version of LeBron in the finals? Yes, I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But to say that consistently, he's been swept in the finals. What are we talking about? Consistently dominant. Oh, that doesn't count because they had KD or whatever you want to say, that doesn't count.
They went through lulls as far as their team not being very good. Steph more so than Kobe, but still they both did. But this was interesting. Steph's numbers in the finals are better than Kobe's. Oh. Steph averaged 27 points, 6 assists, 5.8 rebounds in 34 finals.
There's the stats. Can't be a good discussion without stats, right? What they always fail to mention, and this is something where younger casual fans, they will never be able to grasp it because they weren't there to watch the games. And so easy to fool them. And that's why whenever I see the takes that LeBron's the GOAT, usually it's coming from a younger fan or a casual fan. Because what I know from watching those games is the defense was way better in the early 2000s to the 2008, 2010s. The defense was locked down. You could hand check. It was one-on-one defense. You had dudes like Gary Payton. I mean, people were locking up. And Kobe had to play against these guys. Lance Stevenson, Shane Battier. Where are these dudes in the league today? These one-on-one stoppers, where are they at? Name me 5 right off of the bat, because I just gave you a couple. You had Ron Artest. You had dudes that were locking down. People who were known on the defensive end of things solely. That's how they made their money. You had tough zones. You had, the bad boy Pistons. You had Indiana Pacers with Jermaine O'Neal. Lockdown defenses. The game was slower. It slowed down. It was a half-court offense. People weren't coming down the field and just chunking the ball to one pass, shoot, and we're going back and forth, one pass, shoot. No, they ran offenses. It was tough to score. So miss me with those numbers. Steph and LeBron played in an era that was so much more beneficial in regards to scoring. So much easier to score. And I'll die on that hill.
Games, shot 43%. Kobe, 25 points, 5 assists, 5.7 rebounds. So Steph slightly edged him in that. 37 games, 41% shooting. So it's really interesting, but just the overall game as far as defense, and his size 6'6" versus 6'2".
Meanwhile, looking at 13 through 24, Durant at 13, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Kevin Garnett, Jokic.
And see, we could get into this another day. I see a lot wrong with this, but again, we're going to leave it. Just a quick recap. You cannot let statistics be the end all in regards to somebody's legacy. And on the opposite spectrum, you also cannot let the eye test, right, be the end all for someone's legacy. It has to be a good blend, right? And you see fanboys are always going to use the eye test. The media, it sounds like, are always going to use stats, numbers, analytics. I just encourage every single one of you to do your own research. Go back and watch the games. Study the history. Check out interviews. Check out recaps. And listen to those who either played as a peer, or people who are there for the ride, who witnessed it, witnessed the greatness. That is the Black Mamba. R.I.P. Kobe. I'll forever defend your legacy. You're my guy, one of my idols, somebody who I had always aspired to have their work ethic, their determination, their focus, and the talent. So I had to get on here and show you guys what I heard, because it probably shocked you as it did for me. But don't forget to like, comment, rate, and subscribe. We'll drop more sports content, music content. We got a lot coming, a lot of content ideas coming. And don't forget to comment what you think about this. I mean, who do you feel was misplaced? Do you think there was somebody left out of the top 10? Maybe you feel like KD should have crept in instead of Steph. Maybe you feel like Steph should have been higher. Maybe you feel like Shaq should have been higher. Anybody. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comments. See you on the next one.